We already made fun of you on another episode. We said you like anything with an accent.
Yes.
I don't know if that was last week. We said that Dad likes shows that have accents.
Here we are, and welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast, where I get together with my sisters and we talk about all sorts of movies and things. And today we have a returning champion, part of a doubleheader episode, a lightning round we're going to do with our dad, Roger. He's back. Welcome back, Dad.
Thank you.
And this is a special bonus episode where we're gonna cut right to the main topic. It's Thanksgiving. We've watched a ton of football. We want to watch a ton of movies, and we're gonna talk about sports movies. And we're gonna do a round of buy, rent, or meh of sports movies. And with that in mind, Lily, Becky, how are you doing?
Good. I just want to quick off your top of your head, super fast. What is, if I were to ask you, favorite sports movie? Go.
Replacements.
Any given
the
Sunday.
first thing that comes to mind.
Dad?
There's probably better ones with the first
No,
one.
Replacements is a good
I just want to
choice.
know what comes, the one that comes to your mind.
Don't think.
The Natural.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Lily?
Yeah, definitely The Sandlot. Don't double think that.
Does that count as a sports movie?
Sandlot's
I guess
great.
it does.
For sure, Sandlot's a
Sports
great one.
themed.
Those are great choices. Beck, do you have any questions? Thoughts?
About
Sports
The topic?
movies? Yeah, the topic.
About the world, anything in the whole entire world, anything. Ask Dad. He knows everything. When Dad was visiting me last week or 2 weeks ago, my brother-in-law lives with me still, so I was trying to explain like the essence of Dad.
Yes.
I was like, imagine having IMDB or Google, but not in an apparatus like a phone, but in a human. I was this man knows everything. I was like, ask him anything.
Okay,
and
but
Alex would just ask random questions.
You can't ask if you're just talking the whole time. It's a little bit.
I'm just a
Dad.
treasure trove of irrelevant.
No, I don't have a specific question for Dad, but it's just more of like a statement, is that I feel like what's truly lacking in our history of sports movies is more movies like A League of Their Own, more female sports movies that are really about like the sport, not like the Battle of the Sexes.
Or a superhero character.
Right, but that's like actually about the game or the history of it or something. It's not
Like a Serena Williams movie we need.
Yeah.
Okay, so one so one that's really about the rise of a
So
champion.
not
or a
like
team.
a Wimbledon with Kirsten Dunst.
Ooh, which
a
is
love
cute. I was
story.
thinking about that one. Star-Crossed Lovers?
Is that a Star-Crossed?
Star-Crossed
Oh,
Lovers.
God, I don't know. You said two things that I don't like: Kirsten Dunst and tennis. Ugh, you lost me at Kirsten Dunst and tennis. Okay, so let's start with our first category: football movies. Buy, rent, or meh. Now these are going to be all hard, just so you know. Buy, rent, or meh. The Replacements, starring Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman, and Reese Ifans.
Nobody. Reese Ifans.
Any Given Sunday, starring Al Pacino and Cameron Diaz and
LL
Jamie
Cool
Foxx
J.
and LL Cool J. Remember the Titans,
Denzel Washington.
starring Denzel Washington and Will Patton. Those three. I don't know how unnecessary.
And I added Unnecessary Roughness.
Yeah, that's not even the name of the movie. The movie is Necessary Roughness.
You left off the longest yard.
Is that well? No, but it's got to be three because
I added a fourth.
because you just that's the Bacula category. That's just buy, rent, or meh, and Bacula.
Exactly.
Okay, I think we know where I stand on this.
Go for it. Ben.
So I shouldn't go because we already know that my buy is Replacement. So I feel like other people should answer this one because I use that as my favorite movie.
Why?
Because Becky said The Replacements was her favorite sports movie. So I just
Why?
all right. So what?
Because it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Keanu.
Why, Beck?
Keanu? I just feel like anytime Keanu's in an unexpected role, I'm going to have a soft spot for it. Also, truly, it's the first thing that came to my mind, even though I know, like, Mighty Ducks, A League of Their Own, movies, even The Rookie, movies that I have, like, such wonderful connection to and that I love. It was, like, the first thing that came up. I love Keanu in an unexpected role.
Keanu in a ragtag group of football players playing against Brett Cullen.
keeps like you just keep naming
getting
things.
better?
I have consistently said I want to
Wrong
believe that his character from The Replacements is the continuation of his character from Point Break, who was a football star who damaged his knee and then became an FBI
Then he had like
agent
meniscus surgery
and then came back.
I like we should make another film that's like the in between years.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
all right, I'll just finish
Guys,
this
we're
one.
onto something.
I'm gonna finish this one up. I'm gonna buy Replacements. I'm gonna meh Any Given Sunday. Sorry, Shy. And I'll rent either of the other two.
Okay.
Unnecessary Roughness and Remember the Titans.
Lily, which ones are you gonna buy?
I'm probably gonna buy Remember the Titans. I get like misty-eyed thinking about that movie. I remember I loved that movie so much when it came out.
It's still
so
great.
Inspiring. It's still great. I'm going to rent The Replacement and Necessary Roughness because those have such sweet, like they're kind of like a similar kind of movie in that sense. And then I don't want to meh Any Given Sunday. I'm just only going to meh because I saw it once. It was brilliant. I thought it was awesome, but I don't want to see it again.
Right.
Like, so I have to admit because I once is enough for me. I don't need to like sit down and watch it right now. It's like 4 hours.
Okay, so my number one would be The Replacements because to me it's an everyman story. And my hidden socialist in me believes in the underdog who fights his way up to success, which automatically then flips Any Given Sunday into the meh category because it's all about the big names, the big show, the big hype, the overblown characters, and it's okay. And then in between would be Remember the Titans. It's somewhat formulaic,
It's a Disney movie, I think.
yeah, but it's been done a dozen times, but it's done well, and it has. I'm blanking on Denzel
And Will Patton.
and Will Patton. So
And Necessary Roughness. Do you even remember that movie?
no.
Starring Hector Elizondo,
No.
Robert Loggia,
Kathy
and Scott
Ireland.
Bakula.
All those
And
Hector
Kathy Ireland.
Loggia is one of my
And Sinbad.
second banana characters.
And Sinbad.
Look, this is an iconic film from the
Okay,
80s.
so I'm going to buy Any Given Sunday, and I'll just say Any Given Sunday, I have seen it. So Allie and I love that movie so much. We watch that movie once a year. And I saw that in the theater, and it came out with Josh. And what is so significant of that movie, it is the first movie to go to the true dark side of the NFL, and the NFL, which is a very controlling organization about how its image is portrayed. They didn't use the NFL as the name of the league in it, but it Oliver Stone pushes the limits the same way he pushes the limits on everything.
Yeah.
He pushes the limits in that movie. The football scenes have never been matched in a sports movie ever, although The Replacements football scenes are pretty fun. And I think that Jamie Foxx. I believe
that was his big breakout role as a
Jamie
serious
Foxx.
actor.
When I met Jamie Foxx in an airport in Montreal with Allie, and
That's
walked
very
up to him,
random
and I just went up to him and
information.
I said, "We watch Any Given Sunday every year. It's amazing. Thank you so much for your performance." And he was really nice about it. So that's a buy. I'm going to rent Remember the Titans. It is a beautiful, incredible movie. I watched it with the kids. It had a real impact on them. And only by I can't really meh, but I will meh Replacements and Unnecessary Roughness. Well, I'll meh Unnecessary Roughness because it's not a real movie, but Necessary Roughness and Replacements I'll meh only because I like to play the game by the rules. But I absolutely adore those movies, and the Replacements I've owned for a very, very. I own all of the movies in this group, so actually except Necessary Roughness. Anyways, I love that. Okay, let's go to baseball movies. All right, this will start with Dad, the baseball, the one who introduced us to baseball. We've got The Natural, Major League, and Field of Dreams. And Lily keeps adding extra categories, but we're going to talk about A League of Their Own in the next category. So
Right, I added it there
I
in
think it
case
gets
you
to
weren't going to
count
do
as
another.
I think it should count as a baseball. I
all
don't
right,
think
counts as a baseball movie. It's more of a baseball movie than Field of Dreams is, for that matter. So
True.
So again, just like in The Replacements, I'm going to go for the underdog who struggles to make it big. I'll buy it, although I can't buy the ending, which is really sappy.
The Natural?
Yeah, The Natural. Field of Dreams, probably because I think it was a different take on the whole sport. At the time, it was shown and kind of broke the mold a bit. You have actually 4 movies here.
I know,
Right?
because
No, but
just adds
I
movies.
kept adding stuff.
Okay.
Just ignore it.
Well, and Major League, it's funny as all heck. It's a classic. It's full of side characters that went on to great careers, but against that competition, it'd have to be meh.
All right, Beck.
I'm going to buy the wild card that was put in here at the last minute.
No,
A
because it's
League of-
going in another category.
Oh, we're not even doing it?
It's going to be in a different category.
I don't feel like I remember Major League or The Natural well enough to decide which one gets bought and which one gets meh. So I'll buy Field of Dreams. I remember it the best.
All right, and then or League of Their Own. All right.
Well, which I was.
Well, if League of Their Own is in there, everybody's buying that because it's the best movie.
So a quick quiz.
So-
I want to be guilty of using IMDb. I wanted to look up Kevin Costner, and here's a trick question: how many baseball movies have Kevin Costner?
7 and 1 lame golf movie.
Bull Durham,
Excellent.
For the Love of the Game, and The Natural.
I said 7, right?
Bull Durham,
And then-
The Love of the Game, The Natural. Not The Natural, sorry. Bull Durham, The Love of the Game,
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Those are the 3 baseball movies. He's not in another baseball one.
Wasn't he in a newer one? He was in like a newer one with
I'll just
with Amy Adams, right?
I'll just rip off
No,
these
it's For the Love of the
names.
Game.
The Upside of Anger, 2005.
But that's not a baseball movie.
Well, it's classified as one.
No, that's not a baseball movie.
Did you see it?
Deadpool. Oh no. Okay. Shagging Flies.
I'm not sure you know how to use IMDb.
No. And
But this is amazing, whatever's
Bull-
happening right now.
He did a movie in 1996 called Bull Tijuana, an ill-advised attempt to recapture the Bull Durham.
Are you
magic.
looking at Kevin Costner or Kevin Costner?
Well,
Ned, like a different actor.
Dad, I don't think he's in that. I think that's starring
Just
Luis
suggest-
Guzman and Cheech Marin.
well, just to show you, just to show you how
Just stick with the IMDb in your head, Dad.
just how much baseball permeates our society.
All right.
It does, but Bull Durham is my favorite. So I'm going to buy Bull Durham because I don't know why it's not on this list.
It's too long. It's too long.
I
love
do
that
not
movie.
enjoy
That movie.
any
There
part
is
of
a
that movie.
star-crossed lover part of
35
that
minutes that needs to be cut out.
I
That
love that movie
is
so much. It doesn't and isn't
It's as long as
Alana
Water-
doesn't she
it's as
doesn't
long-
Alana live in Durham?
It's as long as Waterworld, that movie. It's the Waterworld
I
of
love that
baseball.
movie so much. I love the ending. So I'm gonna buy Bull Durham. I'm also gonna buy Field of Dreams because it's such a beautiful movie. Even though I definitely didn't understand it as a kid and found it confusing that there's barely anything about baseball in it. And I have to then rent The Natural because Robert Redford, duh. And I'm gonna Major League, even though I loved it and saw it so many times as a kid. Sorry, but I'm
It
gonna
has
meh
Corbin Burnson.
That's right.
You're right. The only reason I'm gonna meh is because there is a conflict inside of me of watching it, but have mom. I remember this distinctly. Mom and dad, like, not being sure if they should let me and
There's
letting
some
me
dirty
because you were
jokes.
already watching it because of the dirty jokes and the bad language. And I remember being a kid being like, well, they're taking all the fun out of it, and watching it being like as a kid conflicted of like, there's so many bad words. They should have just let me enjoy it.
Sorry, so I'm gonna buy Field of Dreams. I'm going to rent Major League because Major League to me was a big moment watching that movie.
I
as a kid.
remember because
Oh.
you were a teenager and they were like, oh, he can listen to bad words. You
I
were like
watched it
12.
over and over and over and over again. And I'm going to meh The Natural, not because The Natural isn't great. One could put it at the top of every baseball movie. But as a little kid, when I saw it the first time, I was too young to see it. And there's some really upsetting things in that movie. Like the character
are.
gets shot, and there's some really sad stuff in that movie. So that one really upset, but it's a great movie. But then here's an interesting question, sort of a one-on-one, if you will, a buy, rent, or meh one-on-one. Becky raised an interesting question. Fields of Dreams versus League of Their Own. For me, I got to go just if it's buy or don't buy, or buy versus rent, or whatever you want to call it. I go with Field of Dreams because you can't. For me, you can't the father and son element of Field of Dreams will always overtake anything that Field of Dreams goes up against.
Except that A League of Their Own is a more watchable film.
I've seen A Field of Dreams many more times than A League of Their Own. I love A League of Their Own. No crying in baseball, one of the most iconic lines ever. Also, let's not
correct. I think people misquote it. It's not. There's no crying in baseball. It says, "Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball."
And let's not forget a great performance from Lori Petty.
Oh yeah. Underrated. Is she a character?
So that's a great segue because we did
Rosie O'Donnell, Madonna, Gina Davis, Tom Hanks. I mean, really.
Gina Davis in her heyday.
As I said when we talked about A Star Is Born, I want to see Lady Gaga do roles like Madonna did in A League of Their Own. If you get my point.
So small side roles where she doesn't speak.
Not a singing role where she steals the movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So make her play baseball and see how well she does. That's what you're saying.
So now I think you're right that female-driven sports movies, not because these movies don't stand on their own as great sports movies, but because it's an interesting category to look at of all.
Right. I mean, I would have been happy to put Girl Fight in the boxing category and League of Their Own in the baseball category. I just thought it was just a fun category to do on its own.
So let's do it.
Female-led.
We got Bend It Like Beckham, League of Their Own, Girl Fight, and because Lily doesn't know how to count, she is fourth one in Whip It.
I was giving you suggestions.
All right. Well, first of all, it's easy. Whip It is a meh compared to the other ones. Give me a break. So let's just take that out of the running. Yeah.
I was gonna give it.
I'm sure you would.
I definitely like it more than Bend It Like Beckham, which is.
Here's the thing: after you saw Whip It, point of information for our listeners, Shy got into a weird roller derby phase and would go actually watch roller derbies.
Roller derby is awesome. I want to give a shout out to my dear friend Dalia, aka Cluster Schmuck, on Instagram, who is a roller derby referee. Okay.
Well, way to make me look like a jerk.
One of the coolest people I've met. I met her when I was in Jerusalem on the ROI program. And so, Dalia, shout out to you. You rock. I love watching your roller derby stuff on Instagram. Really cool. And I'm proud that I went to see DC Roller Derby in the DC
But you're still only renting Whip It.
Because A League of Their Own is in the same category.
Okay, so Shy, you buy League of Their Own, you're renting Whip It, and what are you mang?
The other two, obviously.
Well,
Bend It Like Beckham.
I'd upgrade Girl Fight, and Bend It Like Beckham is the only one of those three that I don't care if I ever see again. Even though it has Archie Punjabi and I love her, but.
All right, so it's an obvious buy for A League of Their Own, a rent for Girl Fight, and I agree the other two would have to be mad. Although I do love Bend It Like Beckham. It was a hard choice, but I made it quickly.
Okay.
She made up for details with speed, which I really admire. I love decisiveness. You should see me picking things for our house.
I'm gonna buy League of Their Own because it's just too classic. I'm definitely renting Girl Fight, but I'm renting it to the point where I then have to buy it because I've rented it so many times because it's so good.
Girl Fight is
brilliant. If
Michelle
people
Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez, it's, I believe, her first film or one of her first films. If you have not seen it, go and get it right now. See that movie. Totally awesome. And then I'll met the other two because I've seen them once and don't care. Dad. Although I'm very excited for your friend who roller derbies.
No, Dad. I think there's no question that A League of Their Own is number one buy because it does mark a enormously historic event of women
professional baseball player.
Being a main attraction. And it reminds me that recently a friend of mine passed me a news article of a young woman who in the 1930s apparently was reputed to have struck out both Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Right. I think her name was Mitchell, and the whole point of the article, and I think the movie is that women can do it just as well as men. So that stands as number one. I don't know any of the other movies except I think I saw part of Whip It at some point. So
Drew Barrymore and Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, fine. That movie is too.
And Ellen Page and Aliyah Shawkat.
Yeah, I like it. Bend It Like Beckham. So yeah, there's one buy and everything's a meh.
All right, sports movie. Okay, so now we have kids, all three of us, dad's grandchildren. Sports movies with kids.
I'll just do this super easily. I can do it in 1
We got
second.
Bad News Bears, The Sandlot, and The Mighty Ducks.
Really easy. Sandlot, buy it 1,000 times over, forever and ever and ever. Mighty Ducks, have to rent because I've already bought another one. That movie's amazing. All of them, love it. Huge point in our lives. Estevez. And Bad News Bears, definitely Mang, because Walter Matthau scared me in that movie. And I thought the movie was sad and weird.
Kids drink beer, and it's
Yeah.
super creepy.
And I was
that
a kid,
era-
I did not
That
understand
era
it.
of
And
70s.
pretending to be
I'm
a
like,
kid's movie,
I was
but
not
it's
allowed to see. I got shit for seeing Major League, but that movie was appropriate.
You have it
Give me a
all wrong.
break.
You have it all wrong. You have it all wrong. Bad News Bears is definitely the buy movie because it introduced the genre of
like kids drinking beer, like 11-year-old drinking.
It's the Star Wars of
Big
runty kids.
underdog.
Of runty kids
Cursing
being whipped into a winning team.
Okay, without Bad News Bears.
Therefore, Mighty Ducks has to be the man because it's a copycat in another form. And I think a strong second is Sandlot because it is a beautiful movie with great character development. But Bad News Bears is definitely the buy.
To Dad's point about Bad News Bears, if you ever watch a movie about any sport with Mom, she always says, it's like the Bad News Bears. Like when she was saying you couldn't watch Major League, she was telling you had to watch Bad News Bears, I bet. And then you watch Bad News Bears where the kids get
like, what is this
punched
shit?
where the kids get punched by adults as a punishment.
Yeah.
And then spoiler alert, they lose at the end of the movie, which I
I know. I
think
remember
is
thinking this is bullshit.
but
This is not
it is
Disney.
one of the great endings of a movie ever because they it's so hard to do a movie that's satisfying where the team doesn't win. Like the end of there's movies where they do it and you're like, oh, that's interesting. But this movie is actually satisfying that they win because
That they don't win.
they just don't, that they don't win because they just don't care and they're just happy they got as far as they did and they pour beer all over each other and that's the end. But I'm going to buy Mighty Ducks. I'm going to rent The Sandlot, not because I don't love it, but because it's kind of long and I've seen I can't live without the Mighty Ducks. And last but not least, Bad News Bears, mostly because of the child abuse in it. Becky.
But I still agree with Dad's point, and he does make a good point.
He makes a great point.
He does make a very valid point.
I mean,
Solid point.
think of how many down and out, derelict
Oh, for sure.
guys
No, for
saved
sure.
them
I agree with you.
Okay,
It
wait,
started
let's
as
go on to the next
unfortunate
category,
kids.
which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is
I added the entire category.
Is Jose
I
gonna-
added 4, so I'll take out Girl Fright from that category.
okay. Is Jose going to join?
I wish. Wouldn't that be fun?
All right, Rocky, Creed, Raging
Although
Bull.
we could do a whole other episode with him just about martial arts and boxing movies.
Sure, but let's
All right,
just
yeah,
quickly do
sure.
Rocky, Creed, and boxing. Rocky, Creed, and Raging Bull.
And Girl Fight.
No, that one's out.
We just want to make the point that all of the movies in our girl category could have been
Could
in
have been
all the
in
other
other-
ones.
I
And if we had a
100%.
soccer category,
I 100% agree.
Soccer is stupid.
I 100% agree. That's right. That's true.
And then, like, Beckham would be in the
Right.
category.
No, the only
bad to have a
the
girl.
soccer movies are just there's the
Exactly.
Shaolin
Big
Monk
one.
soccer game. There's the pitch something
Okay,
with Vinnie
Rocky-
Jones, and then there's
Okay, you ready for my answers?
yeah.
Rocky, because is my buy because I rewatched it recently, and it's so good. I think I rewatched it like 2 years ago, and I still think it's so good. I feel like it really holds up even today. Then for my rent, since I haven't seen neither Creed nor Raging Bull, I'm
Shonda,
gonna go-
serious?
I know, but I'm going to pretend. I feel like Raging Bull is the one I've lied the most about seeing.
If you're a film
Good,
student,
good
yes, you
call.
So I'm gonna
As a
rent
film
Raging
student, for
Bull.
sure.
Oh, Raging Bull is definitely one of like the ones I lie about having seen. So I'm gonna rent that, and I'm gonna have to Mad Creed because that one I actually haven't seen yet. But I imagine if I see it, it would go higher on the list. But that's more of like a not applicable answer.
Creed 2 is coming, and like Rocky 2 before it, it's going to be amazing.
All right.
Lily,
Someone-
Lily, did you go yet?
Did
No.
I give an answer for everyone? Someone else.
Lily, go.
I'm going to buy Rocky because Avi, like that's just phenomenal. Adrian, you can't not buy Rocky, and plus he wrote it. Doesn't that give the movie more credibility?
and introduce the Steadicam.
Really?
Yes, the
Okay,
Steadicam.
Dad,
It's the first. It's
seriously.
the first
Once
movie.
again.
It's the
Once
first
again,
movie to
listeners.
use.
It's
Oh,
Dad,
my
M- Dad
God.
MDB
Proving
over
me
here.
right, Dad.
Dad
Dad
MDB
does
over
not
here.
have
Gee whiz,
an
don't you guys know
IMDb
nothing
page or
about
Wikipedia page
film?
open in front of him. These are just facts,
No,
you know.
man. You don't come
Like
from
I said,
Philadelphia.
he knows everything. So yeah, I feel like the fact that Stallone wrote the movie, acted in the movie, has that accent in the movie, and basically intelligible, that he is still able to give such a phenomenal performance. It's such a great story. So by Rocky, Raging Bull is excellent. I did see it. It's tough. It's like it's an intense movie, but it's a great movie. And I thought it was beautifully shot. It's in black and white, and And I'm gonna meh Creed just because it's a bit more blockbustery, but I'm so happy it exists. And Michael B. Jordan is the best. So only saying because I don't have a choice, but yeah, I can't wait for Creed 2.
Well, again, I see this group always needs an historian to kind of lend an element of gravitas, and in that regard, the original always has got to be the buy, and it's Rocky. And having been in Philadelphia at the time, was 1976 that it appeared. Philadelphia.
Point on checking IMDb because you're obviously going to be right, but I'll just double check.
Philly in the 70s was really a super dump. The city was a dump.
I was just like, Philly was a rough town.
No. It was super a dump. All of the
dump.
sports teams were terrible. The 76ers one year went 9-73 and held the record for the most losses until they probably exceeded it a few years later. It was just a terrible, terrible town. And in many respects, Rocky captures the city as it was, in addition to being a wonderful character movie. So Rocky number 1.
It is 76, though.
76?
Right.
Okay, right. Of course, the rent is Raging Bull because the incredible performance, although I kind of grew up with the knowing the history and of Jake LaMotta, and he was, I mean, when people talked about him, he was a bum, so this gets the rent on the basis of the Nero's performance. And then Creed.
Right, we were talking about the movie.
Yeah. And Creed is a wonderful movie. I agree with you, Lily. It's great that it exists. It's a wonderful, fun movie, and it's unfortunate that it comes in third in this category.
So I'm gonna boomerang you all back here, and my buy is going to hands down be Creed.
I knew it.
I love Michael B. Jordan in that movie.
You're a sucker for Michael B. Jordan.
That's a wild card.
I love movies and franchises that actually honor their history.
It's easier to him Last Jedi.
Big other franchises. And as great as Stallone is in the Rocky movies, that character only improves with age. And when he plays old Rocky, managing Creed, that is Stallone disappearing into the supporting role in a way that is not. The only other time he's acted that well is in Copland. And I think that he's just so lovable and so great. It's a huge part of why I enjoy the Creed movies, is seeing the two of them act together. And so Creed is by far my buy. I'm going to give my rent to Raging Bull. Dad's right. Jake LaMotta is an unlikable character, but Beck,
but De Niro blows you away.
De Niro's amazing in it, and Beck, you should watch it just for the filming. There's this.
No, I really want to see it. It's not like I don't want to see it. I just haven't.
If you remember when Mike Roberts was on, and he talks about the reason why you do certain camera angles, you have to have a purpose behind it.
Did I pretend to have seen it when he was on? Because I could have done. I might have.
No, we never talked about it.
And when Mike Roberts was on. He talked about different camera angles and the whole view from the fridge thing. And there are some shots where they're looking up from the canvas in Raging Bull that are just amazing. I'd never seen anything like it in my life when I saw that movie. And then I'm going to meh Rocky, not because I don't love Rocky, but of the Rocky movies, it's definitely not my favorite Rocky movie. I like Rocky 2 much, much more, and I love Rocky 4. He's not a. I don't remember what it is, but it's something like he's not a man. Whatever. When Ivan Drago can't beat Rocky and he admits it, is one of the greatest moments in movie history. Okay, with that, we have wrapped up our lightning round episode of Friday Night Movie, where we have talked about sports movies on this wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Becky, do you have any shout-outs on this episode?
I would like to shout out to the professional sports people of the world for inspiring these stories. I can't name any off the top of my head, but Good stuff. No one to shout out to. Sports. Shout out to sports. That's all I got.
Becky. Lily, sorry.
I would like to shout out to Stallone, the man, the myth, the legend, who is soon to be in Tenerife, in the Canary Islands, because they are filming Rambo 5 here. That is amazing.
Unlike the Rocky movies, Rambo does not age as well, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. But there's these hilarious casting calls that keep going out, and like this is just a small place that like you keep getting a WhatsApp with just like the casting call because somebody is sending it to you, and so just the profile of the people that they keep looking for is just really funny. But yeah, they're filming that here.
A Spanish vacation island? Is that the plot of this movie?
No, but it's incredibly cheap to film here, and they can they let them do whatever they want to the city. They're like, all traffic on all streets will be closed on Sunday because they're filming Rambo here. So nobody can go anywhere. It's like they let them have the run of the place.
I'm going to give Dad, do you have a shout out?
I have a shout out to my Philadelphia Eagles who are going through terrible times, and I want all of the Eagles and Eagle fans to know that we still love you. We will stick with you through tough times and be back on top certainly next year.
And tomorrow,
30.
This episode will air in a few weeks, but tomorrow Dad and I are going to cheer on the Eagles in person.
Amazing!
And I will be doing some live Instagram stuff for the Goldnerds, because the Goldbergs are from Philly, from the game, so that will be fun. And so shout out to everyone in the Goldbergs universe and the fellow Goldnerds. And then I want to give a shout out to our cousin Vanessa for hosting Becky for Thanksgiving, giving Becky somewhere to go. And I want to give a shout out to Nour Darwish, my buddy that I met recently, who she's a new artist. She just started drawing, and she drew this beautiful caricature of the three of us that I used to advertise episode 59. So thank you, Nour. You're an amazingly talented, awesome person. And with that, Becky, where can people find you?
At Paper BK Princess on Twitter.
Lily, where can people find you?
TGK Gomez on Twitter.
Dad, where can people find you?
A corner in South Philadelphia.
And you're all invited to stay at their house. Just slide into my DM or slip into my DM, whatever it is.
Slip into.
Slide.
Ask Lons. Just text Lons. We're the worst.
Slip and slide into my DM, and I'll
sound good when you say it.
I'll tell you how to get into Dad's apartment. And you can follow me at Pancake4Table on Twitter and Instagram, and Pancake4Table.com, and FridayNightMoviePod.com. Please rate and review us, and come hang out with us. Play Buy, Rent, or Med in person. That's one of the things you're going to be able to do. We're going to have a setup there where you can do Buy, Rent, or Med lightning rounds with us in June of 2019 at All-Star Comic-Con. And with that, the music of a What Does It Eat kicks in, and we dance.
Becky?
I'm dancing. Shai, when you go to the game, are you going to eat one of those cheesesteaks they sell at the stadium that are so good?
Gotta eat the cheesesteaks.
Oh, I love the cheesesteaks at that stadium.
Oh, the cheesesteaks. So they are underrated. And the Eagles don't win unless I eat 2 cheesesteaks.
Oh, I agree.
Every time they've been losing and I eat a second one, they come back and they win.
The magical powers of the cheesesteak.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
All right, love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bed News Bears was the best comment.
That was the best. That really elevated the comedic factor of this episode. That took this episode to another level. Oh shit! We didn't do Rex on either episode. What we're watching. We didn't do what we're watching on either episode.
All right, so let's just do a little what we're watching bonus round. So this will be our outtakes this episode, because this episode's already going to be short. So welcome back to a secret episode of Friday Night Movie, because we just taped back-to-back episodes on Thanksgiving weekend. We actually taped 3 this weekend because we've got some busy schedules and we don't want to miss a week. Lily and I were just hanging around afterwards because we had the loosest schedule today, and we realized that we forgot to do recommendations. So Beck, really sorry if you do end up listening to this episode. We're sorry that
well, we know Becky recommends Bohemian Rhapsody, but we're going to do that together on another whole episode.
And she recommends Riverdale. And always. So, all right. And so, what do you... Oh, Dad's back.
No,
Dad-
I just,
Dad recommends a Australian.
Dad
or
recommends.
British
Wait, I'm
detective show.
gonna make my recommendation is through Dad is the TV show Rake. It's an Australian
Right.
lawyer show, hilarious,
It is.
charming, really fun. First episode stars Hugo Weaving as a cannibal. That's all I have to say.
it's the most inventive show with the widest range of topics.
Did Dad really come back just to talk about that?
No, I'm just. I came back to tell you that I'll try to FaceTime with you guys early tomorrow to see.
we're taking
We're
a second.
recording.
I could use taping. Obviously, you'll edit that out.
Yeah. No, well, maybe
No,
not.
you won't. No, you won't.
So, Lily, what do you recommend?
I just want to say I
We're
finished
doing it now.
Sabrina. I finished Sabrina this week. I obviously recommended it for the last 6 weeks.
But
so.
now that you've seen the end, though, the ending is intense, and I think if people are going to invest 10 hours in that show, you want to know that it pays off. And I thought it paid off.
I was a bit worried the ending was going to go soft, but I like the direction it's going. It's a bit predictable, but I'm okay with that. I don't want to infuriate Lons, but I'm very curious to see where Sabrina could take a more open relationship. I know Sabrina on Heart forever, but I'm kind of over it real fast.
Whoa! Don't.
Yeah,
you just dropped a bomb there.
No, I'm afraid to tweet Lons my reaction. But yeah, and Alita is on fire. I guess I don't know why I did that. I guess I don't have that much to recommend. I am gonna have to see Mission Impossible dubbed in Spanish. Is that okay? That's okay. Yeah,
we
right?
we saw Mission Impossible Fallout last night, and terrific.
I'm gonna have to see that in Spanish.
So
Is
much
that a
fun.
good movie to watch?
I told you show to Mike Roberts because he's the first person to tell me that movie was good. It is definitely the best since the first one, and he had a great line on Twitter yesterday that I'm going to read because it was so funny. Not funny, but it ended up being so true is the best way to describe it. It was funny. It was funny how true it was. He says, "They've mastered making the absurd believable. Every time Tom Cruise stumbles, his next feat is that much more exciting to watch." And that's at the Mike Roberts, the brilliant animator and director who did Dallas and Robo and Final Space and Rumble Seat. And he was dead on because the scenes get more and more implausible.
The man broke his ankle while filming.
No kidding. I mean,
and kept running to finish the shot.
And they somehow...
So he's run because he was afraid they were going to not be able to get the shot if he didn't keep running. Give me a break.
The movie reminds you why Tom Cruise is one of the great movie stars of our time, because there are little things he does, little personality moments he does in this massive movie that gives it charm. And we talked a little while ago about Hotel Artemis, and one of the things I didn't like about Hotel Artemis, that for all of the great actors in it it lacked charm. There was nothing that made me...
I don't agree.
But what I'm saying is that Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 6 is not only makes you care about this character, which why should you even care about Ethan Hunt at this point? He makes you care about this character, and he's still so charming throughout.
But you did not answer my question. I play a very dicey game when I have my in-laws here because they will only watch things that are dubbed. So I have to suggest a movie I want to watch,
Cruz,
but not too much so that if it's dubbed, I don't care. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I don't want to sit and watch something dubbed horror movie that they'll make me watch. I'd rather it's something I care about, but it can't be too good because I'm not going to watch something.
Be way less scarier when it's dubbed.
You'd think, but they still are definitely scary.
I would say this Mission Impossible, the action sequences are incredible. But what makes the movie good is that you care about Tom Cruise, you care about what's his name? Oh, the brilliant guy, Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames is in it, Michelle Monaghan is in it. So it threads back to the other movies more than some of the other ones do. Not like in an overdone way, but in a way that you're invested in those characters and they let you be invested in those characters. They don't just make them throw away characters and relationships. So if you really like those actors and you want to hear their voices, then wait to see it. If not, the action sequences are among the best I've ever seen in the last decade.
Okay.
And not because sometimes they do things you've never seen before, but part of it is they really serve the story and they're a lot of fun. And also Henry Cavill is terrific in it.
Is he?
Yeah, he's this sort of
He's British?
Yeah, and he keeps playing Americans. He's this counterpoint to Tom Cruise in the movie as this sort of rougher CIA agent type guy that he gets paired up with, and he has his moments of charm and funniness too. So it was good. So I like this one a lot. What about anything else you have to recommend? Oh, and Teen Titans Go, the movie, was hilarious. My kids loved it. I loved it. It definitely has that meta humor going for it, that Muppet Babies meets superheroes kind of feel that the TV show has. I really, really, really enjoyed it. If you're a comic book fan or you just like wacky jokes, it works really well. My oldest woke up this morning. She finished the last half of it this morning and said, I loved that movie.
Oh, that's adorable. I will say that I was disappointed with Beauty and the Beast, the live-action movie.
Why? Because it was the same? I will say that.
It was the same, and it was not good. Like, how could you make the same movie of a movie that's amazing in live action, and why couldn't they do? And this is something that I feel like it was perfect to talk about with Noah Aston on the Beetlejuice special effects app. Was that I think it would have been so much better if they did not CGI the shit out of the Beast. Like, why didn't they just build, with all the technology we have, an incredible, like, scary and interesting Beast costume and let somebody act instead of that like floofy cartoon thing they had? I don't know. I was very disappointed.
Well, I'll say this. Have you seen the preview for the live-action Lion King? Because that looks amazing.
It does look amazing, but A, the Jungle Book special effects were insane, and B, they use it's animals, so I feel like they're using the CGI where they need.
Yeah, that's true. And Jon Favreau, who is doing this one too, is
yeah.
he one of the things I love about
Jon
Favreau is that when he does a movie like this, he oozes his love. Like, he loves the property, he loves the story, he loves the characters, so he's honoring it. I mean, that's one of the things I loved about the Jungle Book is how much it's a movie that I think needed to be updated, and it's updated with so much love, and that's why it works. Okay, well, those are
cool.
Well, cool.
I'm begging you to please watch like through episode 2 of Elite, just because I need between the scandalous shots, the racist Spanish comments.
I'm not going to watch it with mom and dad. I don't think so. I'm gonna wait till they leave.
No. But it's definitely And when I say it's a Spanish Riverdale, it is the Spanish Riverdale. Like, you need to see it.
All right, I'll watch it later.
All right.
Cool. That was a little epilogue, a little breaking the format situation.
Yeah, for our Rex.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. So